Hi, my name is Teresa. Today we're going to talk about pearls of wisdoms on leadership with Amanda Evans.
Hello.
Let's go. Hi, my name is Teresa. I'm a keynote speaker traveling the world talking about business culture and mindset. I'm also the founder and CEO of 30 Minute MBA. We reimagine the workplace through actionable learning and cultural design. And today I'm here with a special guest. He's one of our own, our amazing advisor on 30 Minute MBA. She's a high achiever, an MD, a rainmaker, the one and only Amanda Evans.
Bella, thank you.
And it's very exciting to have you here. And we're going to talk about leadership and some personal wisdoms on leadership.
Okay.
Yes, ready?
Ready.
Great. So you've been in a leadership role for most of your career, right?
No, I started as a mere mortal and I'm still a mere mortal, but no, I became a leader probably about 10 years ago.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what would you say is some of the most important aspect when you lead?
I would say the most important one actually is that you've got trust and integrity. So you want to make sure that you're authentic, that you are thoughtful, that you actually make a difference, and that you're empowering people.
Okay. And how do you do that on a daily basis?
Extremely clear communication, and you have to have very clear goals so that everybody knows exactly where they're running, and when people are running off the track, you know exactly how to get them back on.
Okay. And is that something you have developed over time, or did you always know that, or have you experimented with different leadership styles?
No. Do you know what? I've been fortunate enough to have really good leaders that I've worked for, and I've learned from them. So they've led by example, and I'm hoping to do the same.
Okay. So on that, how do you lead on example? How do you show your people, the best way of being a high achiever and achieve greatness on a regular basis?
I think everyone's different on their style, but I think as long as I like to be inclusive, and I like to make sure that my door is always open. I'm not in a closed space. Anyone can interrupt me when they need, and I like to make sure that we can talk about questions as they come up, so people aren't stewing too long. I also like to make sure that I'm honest. So I think you've got to give honest feedback, and you've got to take the time to give the feedback. And I don't beat about the bush. So you go straight to the point, and you don't sugarcoat it, but you say it how it is. It's pretty much firm but fair.
Right. So there's an element of directness and care in it, but it's not, this is sort of good, but maybe not really. It's more direct than
it's
that.
very clear and exactly why, and it's logical.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So communicating why certain things is good or bad is, of course, a key aspect
Absolutely,
of it.
absolutely. I mean, you have to understand when you're explaining to people, and they need to understand, so you have to help them.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So what are the most important things for you to feel engaged at work?
So what I really like to do is just to make sure that we're as a team. So I'm a big team player, and I like to actually have others around me who are doing and running as well as I am. Then I also like to make sure that I'm learning, so that I really like to have a vertical learning curve, and what we don't know in our gaps, we will fill those gaps, and we'll figure out if we don't have them, who will have them and who we can ask to get those.
Right.
And you're actually achieving the targets towards your goal. So you're going in the right direction. So even if there are sometimes days when you don't think you did that much, you still made a step in the right direction and you're on track.
Right. So how do you work with goal setting in your team? Do you bring everyone together and you set them together, or do you share them with them? How do you work with that?
It depends on the size of your team actually, but actually we do it as a management team first. And so we're around the table and we're really nailing it and digging to the essence.
Yeah.
And then we're bringing in the next level down, and then we're sharing it, but we're extremely inclusive. But we start at the top and walk down, and then we listen as well all the time to everyone. All the ideas are welcome, but we do need some structure and some focus in where we're going, and then the ideas how we're going to get there are absolutely fantastic from everyone.
All right, wonderful. And you talk a lot about being inclusive as a leader, and I totally agree that's a key. But if there's some viewers that are new to that, how would you describe being an inclusive leader, and how can you act upon that?
Do you know what? Everybody has an opinion, and I ask them. So there are some people who are introverts, some are extroverts, and you make sure you find them in their environment. So you won't put an introvert on the spot in front of everybody else, but you'll find out when they're comfortable and when you can approach them, and you'll pull it out of them. And you'll ask them what they think and make them feel valued on that level. And then on the extroverts, it's pretty easy, because before you've asked them, they've given you the answers that they want, and you hear them. But you basically make everybody shine in their right environment at the right time and the right place.
So that's one aspect. Is there anything else in being an inclusive leader? that you would advise people to?
Do you know what? What I also find is I figure out where some people have some learning gaps, and I will be able to help them fill those learning gaps, either by recommending a book or someone they talk to, introducing them to someone who has that expertise, or I will ask them actually where I've got the gaps, and so they can fill my gaps, and we can figure out where we stand. I will be a very clear and honest communicator, and I'll ask a lot of questions.
Okay, very cool. And you have been a mentor for a lot of people in your life so far. So is there similarities between how you mentor and how you lead?
Do you know what? How I lead, I know more about where I'm going and how I'm doing it. But how I mentor, I'm much more of, I'm behind the stage and I'm prepping them and helping them. I'm not making the decisions for them. I'm facilitating them working through the process to reach their own decisions. But no, with leadership, I'm making the decisions. But with mentoring, I'm helping my mentees make the decisions.
Okay. So it's a different form, but there's still similarities, it sounds like.
There are still similarities. You lead them towards the goals that they want to make.
Right.
And you give them support and confidence and advice and reflection time. And you're a sounding board for them. So absolutely, that's the same in both areas. But I think the key difference is it's their turn to come to the decisions, and it's what's right for them is not necessarily right for me. And you've got to be really back on the mentor and make sure that you're not putting yourself in their situation, you're helping them in their situation.
Right. Great insight. And in regards to the goal setting, so do you have a specific way of doing that and then planning out how to achieve it with your team?
Yes, well, so we set the goals at the very beginning,
Yeah.
and sometimes we need to change them,
Yeah.
but more often than not, we keep them simple. And we share the goals. We're extremely open. Everyone should have that on their hard drive. They're basically able to repeat it and understand it. And if not, we need to figure it out and help them. So we're extremely clear, we're open, we're cooperative, we're supportive, we're a team on that level.
Right.
But you're only as strong as the weakest person in your team. So you need to make sure that everybody is strong.
That's another great pearls of wisdom there. But in regards to the goal setting, and you talked about clear goals and simple goals. So how often do you review them with your team, and do you set outrageously ambitious goals or more modest goals, or how do you do that?
Well, it depends on your team. So as a management team, we have outrageous goals because obviously you've got to fly and you have to have the moon that you're shooting for.
There you go.
You've got to get up there. But then, of course, in different teams with your sales team, you've got to have realistic targets. They've got to be stretch goals, but they've got to be within reach. You can't put the moon up there because they will think, I'm never even going to get there. It's got to be within reach. And then, of course, every goal has steps towards it. So then you break down those big goals into smaller steps. And that's where it depends how you define those goals. But every single one leads to other goals as well.
And on that, we actually did a video recently on this, how the importance of working with goals and planning together and how much you can achieve if you do that. So it's not just about setting the goals, it's also about making the plans and the milestones, and then of course plan your habits around that to achieve it. Because that's another thing you do. You have daily habits to achieve your goals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And everybody has a different work style, but you make sure that everybody has got the time together when they're firing and when the flow is going. And then everybody needs time to reflect and work in their corner and their space, and then you convene. But you make sure they know when those touch points are, and you check in at those times.
Very cool. And what kind of top 3 leadership advice do you have to other high achievers out there?
Gosh, a hard one. There's so many. But I think be authentic. If you really are true to your own self and your goals and your commitment, you will get there.
Yeah.
Do what you like.
Yeah.
You'll be good at it.
Very cool.
And aim high. Think big. I mean, the world's your oyster. You can go anywhere.
Yes. So where do you want to go? Because it's not about playing it small, but actually, stretching yourself, growing, going out there.
Absolutely. Take a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Get out of your comfort zone. You'll be amazed at what you can achieve. If you think you can do something, you can do it.
Definitely.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Never say never.
There you go. Wow. A lot of great advice there. And guys, if you want to take your performance to the next level, we have a gift for you. It's called the Futuristic You. It's have a 30-day challenge and will be linked down below. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment down below on how you work with leadership to help your people achieve greatness. Amanda, thank you so much for being such a treat.
You're very welcome.
And as always, guys, achieve greatness. Bye.
Bye-bye.